Okay, hello everyone. Sorry, we're just starting a minute later than usual, but welcome back. My name is Nazia Hussain. I'm the product manager at the Institute of Sustainability Studies. And thank you so much for joining us for yet another webinar under the Sustainable Action Dialogue series. It's a series where we bring you leading experts who distill the jargon that's often associated with sustainability topics, and we try to hold focused discussions on content that can really allow businesses and individuals to realign commitment with action. And today, I am delighted to have all of you present for an exclusive webinar on generative sustainability, the importance of baby steps, being delivered by Marvin. He's the adjunct assistant professor, international business and environmental studies, Temple University in Japan. Marvin is the dad of 3 children. This explains where his inspiration for baby steps comes from. He's very curious about the transformative nature of leadership and how it enacts positive social change in complex environments. Marvin is based in Japan, where he teaches, like I said, business and environmental courses at Temple University. So before I invite Marvin to deliver the lecture, I just want to let everyone know that the session is being recorded. So if you have to drop off midway, don't worry about it, as we will share the webinar recording with everyone who's joined us. It'll be up on the ISS website as well. In terms of Q&A, we'll be taking questions towards the end of this session. So feel free to use the comments section on LinkedIn to drop any questions, any comments or insights that you may have for Marvin, and I'll ask him to get around to answering all of those towards the end. Over to you, Marvin.
Thanks a lot, Nazia, for the great introduction. Thanks the Institute of Sustainability Studies for inviting and having me tonight here in Japan. And thanks all of you for sharing a little bit of your busy schedule with me today. So I'm excited, very excited to be here. So I don't need to cover this first slide, as Nazia has already introduced us to the talk today, and my name as well. Thanks, Nazia, again. So let's move to the next slide here. Sorry, here. I have to click here. Just give me a second. And yes. So what I expect us to take away from today's brief talk, you actually have to start my stopwatch here. So it's first to define very briefly, because this is part of a research I'm undertaking right now on transformative leadership, as Nadia said. So all this research happens in the realm of digital communication. So the key aspect I'm looking at is about digital traces and why they are important, but in this contemporary notion of leadership. And when we bring this concept to the sustainability studies of our field, we can bring an association between leaving effectively digital traces on digital platforms and getting closer to incorporate your sustainability actions and programs to the mission statement of your organizations, of your companies. So essentially, is how we use digital traces to get our business or corporations closer to the missions of our companies. This is the first takeaway. The second one, I like you to think through this process between how to use digital traces to get your business aligned to your mission statement. Think about the long-term decisions you have to make now. So the strategic management aspect of your decision-making within your organization. And once again, how does that happen when in the realm of digital communication? This is the second aspect. Another layer to analyze this process from digital traces to mission statement in the long term, from a long-term perspective, is about the role of establishing a transparent way to communicate with all the stakeholders of your business. So you are establishing this collaborative communication with all of them and gaining their trust, their loyalty, not only from your current customer base, but the prospect and your other users online. This is the second aspect in this process from digital trace to mission statement. And now as you go through this process, you will see that your business is positioning itself, is creating a personality to the business itself. And the brand is more easily and quickly recognized in the market, in the competitive market. And when you do so in the digital sphere, you are take advantage of these algorithms running these different platforms because they are exposing your mission statement, your goals, your achievements to a large group of people out there. And definitely you should take the advantage because of that. But also because most of you, I believe here, are in the have your business related to sustainability, and you are somehow interested or addressing effectively some of these wiki environmental issues, these complex environmental problems we are facing locally, regionally, globally. And if you do so, you are also promoting your business in a way that effectively is not only greenwashing, actually, you're doing something to address this problem, global problem, most likely from a very local perspective. And finally, this is the topic of today's talk about generative design, which is the foundation for the generative sustainability, this emerging concept now, which we see a lot now with generative AI, right? So generative design is the idea that we can bring in novel, new ideas to address these complex issues we are facing today, these wicked problems. And that's very timely for us to understand this concept, generative design, which is more pervasive, more common among computer scientists. So I'm bringing this to the realm of sustainability so we can take advantage of this concept as well. And just the topic, just for us to more friendly be introduced to this, to my research, because it's all part of my research, as I mentioned, is I just use this term about baby steps because these digital traces have to be taken in a very small, regular way. So I spoke a lot on this first slide because I really want you to try to get the most out of this presentation. So now let's jump to the second clip. So everything, I will have 6 clips, and I'm not going to show too many texts, but every single clip is just to introduce you in a friendly way to the topics we'll be covering. So this is the first one. Sorry about that. I have to move. Yes. So what is this first clip is showing us? Showing a baby building its self-confidence, taking its very first steps, also being encouraged by a caring mother, caring parents to take those risks, to explore this new environment, to build this own pattern, to develop this own cognitive ability to take the first step. So in a way, it's you can see the footprints that this baby is leaving on the sand as the traces, effectively, that's leaving also on the sand. But when we bring now this notion of baby steps to digital communication, we have these digital traces. So what it is, in very general terms, digital traces in my research. Digital traces can be these original or non-original pieces of information you upload and you share online, but also can be the way you interact with these pieces of information online through like, through comments, through subscribing, following, and so on. So all these different ways you are interacting with this information, it's helping the algorithms of these platforms know more who you are, and also help by knowing who you are, help the algorithm select information that might be relevant for you within their huge data set, but also by understanding who you are, recommend whatever information you have shared in this platform with this wide number of users in their platforms. So that's crucial for you to, that's what we call in a lot of when we talk about digital communication realm, when I talk about use this social media platforms with intent in a way that the algorithm understand who you are and can work on your behalf to expose your information to a large number of users. So this is the basic concept of digital traces. emerging from the metaphor that I use for baby steps. But another aspect of the digital traces, it has to happen over a longer period of time. So that's why as you are exploring this new environment, like this baby exploring its first steps in on the beach, you also be developing how you what are the risks of this new environment, what are the opportunities you can leverage in this environment. So you're developing this pattern of behavior. You understand better how to navigate within this environment. And as a result, you're becoming more resilient. You're bouncing back better, faster, quicker from your falls. And that's also the baby you saw there on the beach happens literally, but also when you are yourself taking your very first steps, exploring and take risks on a digital platform in order to get your word, the goals you have achieved, the mission of your company out there to a specific audience, but also to other users. So that's what I want you to take away from this first slide. What are digital traces in the context of my research? And also, how does that help you get closer to your mission statement, toward your mission statement? So now let's move to the next slide. So here, we're gonna see the same baby now, but walk in a different environment. So just, oh, sorry, this keep happening. Sorry about that. Okay. So now we saw, as I mentioned, the same baby now let's keep using the same metaphor to keep the narrative. So now is instead of the beach, now we are on the grass, on an open field. So it's an environment that the baby feel somewhat kind to it. Why? Because if the baby falls, just like the sand, it wouldn't be too much of a problem. Maybe there will be a bit some cry, some bruise, but nothing too traumatic for the baby. Feel he or she shouldn't keep trying to build incrementally their self confidence. So the key aspect of this aspect while you're exploring an environment, how you can turn this environment into a kind one. And there are two ways you can do for that. First, you can just learn as you go. You take the first step, even without knowing what actually to expect, and you learn as you interact, as you upload information and you engage with other users, you engage with the content with other users, and the algorithm start understanding who you are, recommending your information to other users, and so on. But there is also a way you can make an environment that is unknown to you be kind even before you enter into this new environment. So it's by understanding beforehand, doing your homework on what are the norms, what are the target audiences of this particular platform, how what kind of information they usually work looking for, seeking in these platforms. What kind of information is shared more often in this platform? How is it shared? So if you do this research before actually joining a particular platform, you understand better whether a particular platform is better, is more suited to your business goals, your mission statement. And that's a very important first step you can take. So the notion here is that when you select which platforms you will be sharing information, interacting with other users and the algorithm, it's very important you either before do, as I mentioned, do your homework, but also if you just feel confident enough to explore it on your own, you definitely should that, because as you go, that will be an effective way to learn how to, once again, to mitigate the risks that this particular platform can offer to you, but also what are the opportunities that you can take advantage of in terms of communicating your sustainability programs, actions, and how all this can be aligned to your mission statement. And when it comes in the context of long-term decisions, like strategic decisions you're making now, looking toward to the future, long-term future, then you understand how this, as I mentioned before, how every single step you're taking now will have a ripple effect, possibly a good effect, positive effect to the brand, to the mission, to the output of your decision making. So that's very important that you start taking these actions now. You start leaving your digital traces now. You don't need to wait tomorrow. You can start doing this today. So that's the main message from the second slide. Let's jump to the third one. So this now, we have talked a little bit more abstract about some parts of my research, but now I want to provide this a short clip of a well-known figure here in the sustainability realm. So let's see this clip. So I have to start here now.
The mission statement of my company is make the best quality product and cause no unnecessary harm. So it's linked, quality product, quality.
Sorry, stop a little bit. Let's try again. Oh, sorry. Let's go back.
The mission statement of my company is make the best quality product and cause no unnecessary harm. So it's linked, quality product, quality customer service, quality workplace, quality of life for your employees, even quality of life for all living things on this planet. We do use up non-renewable resources and we do pollute. So every day through our environmental assessment, we attempt to do less damage. We also take, as the President said, 1% of our sales and use it to safeguard and restore the natural environment. Our customers appreciate our efforts, and all of us feel a little less helpless in trying to leave a habitable earth for our children and other wild things.
So, as I mentioned, this person is a well-known business leader in the sustainability field as the founder of a global clothing company. So, and this is an epitome of an example of how you should start leaving your digital traces now, particularly if you, let's take a step back. If you see the time that this person was sharing the mission statement of his company with the stakeholders, he was doing so in a time that the information was flowing, was being transmitted through waves. It was an analog type of information. It's not the digital, what we are seeing now. But that in particular information was framed by someone to fit into the to the current digital platforms we have today and to be reproduced by other users and scale by the algorithms run these platforms that you all somehow have some accounts. So what I'm trying to say here is that now going back to this video is that you should, by leaving your digital traces now and taking advantage of every single opportunity that comes your way to share with users, with stakeholders about what are the sustainability actions, programs you have in mind or you have achieved and how they are aligned with your mission statement. You are building, and that's what you are, by having this transparent communication, take opportunity of these moments, you are allowing, if you do so in the digital communication platform, you allow your users, your customer base to know not only more about yourself and about your company through yourself, but you're establishing this two-way continuous exchange of feedback loop with your customer base and your potential customers of your business as well. So you establish this collaborative communication with all these people online. But also, as a ripple effect, as a result, you're also creating this trust relationship between all your current customers, but also prospects. And that's one advantage that if you do effectively, strategically, you leverage the potentials that these digital platforms offer to you. And by doing now, because what is very important aspect here is that you should not expect to reap all the benefits of your present actions in a short term. Whatever you start doing now, you should expect to reap the benefits in the long term. It's just like a long-term investment. Think this as a long-term relationship, a sustainable relationship. It takes time, it's hard work, because you always have to feed these algorithms with information that is important to this platform for other users and might be interested to other users. And this takes time, takes effort, takes investment. Okay? So what we take away from this slide is about the importance from a tangible example from this business owner, important to have a transparent communication. take advantage of every single opportunity that arises to you. Next slide. So I just want to provide one more example so we don't get too subjective on this topic. Now is not in terms too much about sustainability, but as I mentioned in the very first slide, if you engage consistently, regularly, if you leave these digital traces today, not yesterday, not tomorrow, yesterday, today, the day after tomorrow, and so on, you are positioning your business in the competitive market in a way that will stand out to the users, to your customers. And more than that, you build the unique personality of your business, and as a result, the brand of your businesses to your customers and to your potential customers as well. So this is also a business tycoon. I assume that all of you know this person, but see how he positioned his business to a large audience that I'm sure there's nothing new about what he's saying here. But it still is an important message.
Everything we've done and all the success we have is at its root primarily due to the fact that we
I'm not sure why this keeps happening.
have put customers first. Customers are always dissatisfied. Even when they don't know it, even when they think they're happy, they actually do want a better way, and they just don't know yet what that should be. And that's why I always warn people, customer obsession is not just listening to customers. Customer obsession is also inventing on their behalf, because it's not their job to invent for themselves. Everything.
So, well, continue to what I said before I play the clip, is about this particular business tycoon. He always had this message about his business. He wanted from the very early ages of when he conceived this business to be according to the narrative, to the aura he wanted to create around his business, his online business, to be the most customer-centric company in the world. And however you define, you interpret this information, it's entirely up to each one of us. But whether he succeed or not, maybe he succeeded, consider how his particular company scaled to other types of businesses. But once again, what I mentioned the very early on, taking advantage of the opportunity to share with the audience. And now you have the opportunity to do so with our smartphones, with the tip of our fingers. So to a large audience, consistently, regularly, using this concept of baby steps to a large audience, this helps us even more. I keep saying about the customers present future, but the algorithm itself run these platforms to understand what's the personality of your business, how these algorithms can help position your business in the market in a way that sometimes you never expected in the first place. So that's important to have this consistent message that you can always tweak as you go, because maybe you don't know everything from when you very start. But have a clear image, an idea where you want to be in a few years from now, so that you have this narrative created for your organization as you move along in your journey, developing your business. And once you start doing that in the on digital platforms, you are building this personality. You are positioning your brand in a way that stands out in the market. So let's now jump to the next one. So I provided here one example of two established business people that most of you know who they are. But and if you want to see a good example of how everything I'm saying, you can go to the website, to the social media accounts of Patagonia, which was the first one, and see how they effectively incorporate sustainability actions programs they have in their business as aligned with their mission statement. But unfortunately, or maybe there's an opportunity for all of us here, whether you for your business or you're a business sustainability consultant, sustainability managing a company, so to think about this process more clearly. Because a lot of companies right now, and that's why I'm sharing this particular video here, that doesn't have an audio, so I'm just speaking as I play with it. But first, I just introduce a little bit. So this is a particular local company here in Japan that they have a great sustainability program in their production line, in their plants. So they use, let's start playing the clip, and then I pause as I go. Let me see if it plays. So I just pause here. So what that particular company does, they use the waste of the raw material they grow themselves to generate biogas to their this is the second slide. It's about how much waste turn into biogas to their production. Oh, sorry, here. So I just play everything and then I speak. I think it would work better. And here you see the tanks, and you see here the community. So what I want to say here is that it passed very fast, but this company using the raw material, the waste from its raw material to produce biogas, and they have invested a lot of money over time to have this storage, huge storage within their facility grounds, so they can produce biogas, can circle back all the waste back to the production of their main product. So they're creating the whole circular economy within their business. And they're helping not only their business themselves by generating electricity for their production lines, but also for the communities because the excess of their energy, they are powering houses. That was a quick number, there are 22,000 houses close to that have been powered by the excess of this energy production from this biogas. So it's a great practice, great program. However, when you scroll however, when we actually, as a customer of this particular company, most customers, we don't go to the website because the information this particular company had, it was about its sustainability programs, was on as a static, the information was a static web pages in their website. They don't have that information on their social media accounts. And that's a missed opportunity there because most customers, most users, we interact for the first time with a company, products, and services by through scrolling their information, their images, their multimedia on social media platforms. I think it's a fair assumption to make. And so when you let me play here, let's see if we can do so without. Yes, so that's what you see. You see beautiful images, and then you see some work they do with community, but you don't see that that the effort, the investment over time, and the achievements they have accomplished with in this social media images, videos they have. So very different from what we saw from the first person who actually was speaking to a large audience about how their actions, what first the mission statement of the company is, and align every single action they take now, particularly when it comes to sustainability and environmental issues, with this main mission statement. And that was missing in this particular company. And it's not only this company, a lot of companies out there, they already acknowledge how they have to tackle these wicked problems. They have to take part of this. They want to be part of the solution, not part of the problem. But when they communicate that information in order to position their brand, in order to receive feedback from the users, they are not doing so, or they miss an opportunity to do so. And that's, I think, the main takeaway I like you to take from these presentations about how you use the current or future sustainability programs, actions you already implement or you plan to implement in your business in a way that is aligned with your mission statement so that it helps the users, the algorithm, even more important, to understand how you should expose your business to a large number of audience out there. So, and again, when you're doing so, you are not only benefiting your business, the bottom line of your business, but you are addressing these wicked, very complex problems out there. So, and now is the last slide here. So what I like to, before I show this slide here,
St. Patrick's Way.
Let's show
It has many names, and here at Navin Fort, you can pick up a St. Patrick's Way passport. The way itself is 82 miles long, and along the way, you'll stop in picturesque villages, and in many of the stops, there are places where you can get a stamp, which proves that you were there.
So I use this image because I want to encourage you to reflect, to ponder on what you have heard today, and maybe what you have heard before today's talk, on how you can use novel, original ideas that you have as an individual, as an organization, to address these wicked environmental complex issues we have right now. And what is the role that you have in leaving these traces regularly, constantly, and the small steps you're taking now on the long term? What is the role that these steps can have in addressing not only these wicked environmental problems, but in communicating effectively what these actions, the programs you have in your company in order to position your business more effectively, expose your business more effectively to your current and your future customer bases, not only directly by you interact with these users, but also taking full advantage of the algorithms run these platforms. Because if you engage with the algorithms with intent, you are allowing these algorithms understand who you are and also understand how it should better, more effectively expose your business to the audiences out there. So this is the concept of generative design. And when we bring to the generative sustainability, we are trying to say that by taking all those steps that I started from the very beginning, we are allowing the environments that we are taking the next step. We're not just talk about all the different R's like reduce, reuse, recycle. We talk about regenerative. Sorry, I'm still get a little bit confused with this word, but we are redesign, that's the best word, redesign the environments that we are navigating. So we try to alternate these environments that present risks, but also opportunities, and you turn that into kind environments. So we are more effective navigating to it. And when I talk about this pilgrimage in Ireland, just because I'm a big fan of long walks, I did myself El Camino de Santiago from South France all the way to North Portugal 2 decades ago. But the pilgrimage, all these routes that happen throughout Europe, all the other continents, they happen through the steps, the footprints of every single pilgrim who left their steps, and they built this path along the way. And this very complex network routes of pilgrims, they connected point A to B as effective as possible at the time. And more important than that, they communicated with each other in a very minimal way, just through the steps, but also maybe by leaving these traces, by leaving rocks or some signs for the other people coming after that. So if you enjoy long walks, I think it's a good opportunity for you there to step back and go for a walk and reflect on how you can align your business to the missions of your companies through these baby steps. So, thanks everyone. And if you have any questions, I'll be try my best to answer them.
Okay, thanks, Marvin. That was very informative. And I, of course, was not familiar with this idea of generative design. So that information was very useful. And I'm sure the participants also took much value from what you shared today. Let's check if we've got any questions. But I think one thing that I observed was that, of course, there were some great tips out there for for companies and individuals to understand how they can sort of document their digital traces from now rather than tomorrow. I get all of that, and that is brilliant. But I do want to understand what sort of challenges can individuals and companies face in doing so, and what are the sort of solutions that they can adopt to ensure that they're transparent in this process of tracing their work, right? Because everything that they do now, like you said, will have an impact in the future. And everything does tie up with your corporate mission statement, right? So you might be actioning something for your corporate mission statement now, which can have a consequence later, right? So how do you make sure that there's transparency maintained throughout that process? So any insights on that?
Sure. Thanks for asking this question, Nazia. So I'll use the example of the company that had a missed opportunity, the local company in Japan. So if I understand your question correctly, how they ensure the transparency of this sustainability communication through digital platforms over time. So using now the other two examples that I mentioned before, let's use the example of Patagonia. So will be the easiest way and the most personable way, because at the end of the day, you want to have one person speak on behalf of the company. So it's just in a way is to help your customers to understand there's a face behind that particular company. right? To make it more personable. So what the easiest way and the more, I think the most effective, the most effective way, putting a face. So if that particularly company that I mentioned, if they had a face behind the sustainability actions and speak transparently, that's all the effort, that's all the money, that's the 20,000 houses we power, and we expect to power more 50,000. So if they had done so when they very first started, said it was a plan, they didn't have that in place yet. And now they have reached a lot of their goals, and they have even more. And they communicate that every single time. And they, more than that, they put this information on the digital platform, so the algorithms know what they're doing, and they can put this information out there not only for this local market, but to regional market, the international market. So this company has a potential to reach other markets that they did not think in the first place. So I think the easiest way for you to ask this question is that put a face out there. Don't be afraid. I'm sure there's some business owners that don't want to do that, but it's not about too much self-promoting. That if you really care about your business, you are passionate enough to put your face there because it's a part of your identity.
Yeah, fair enough. No, I get that now. I think a leading question from that would just be around just management, like senior management and, company leadership, and how pivotal a role that they can play in ensuring that the rest of the company sort of is documenting themselves correctly, right? I think, it always goes back to who's sitting on the top and what kind of a message that they're making sure is reaching all layers of the company, right? Any insights on that?
Yes, so that can work both ways. I didn't want to say, I did two examples. I think it was a little bit biased in the sense that we should expect always the founders of the company to be this leading voice, the most well-known face, but sometimes not. There's a risk for that. So if it's because we'd assume that who is the founder when you talk to the angel investors, you talk to the first investor company, they want to know, oh, where this idea came from, and that's the person they want to talk to the first time. And also you should assume that this person, because he or she created this company, would be with this company for the long term. So it just makes sense. Yeah. But maybe this person doesn't play this role, doesn't want to play this role. So then the business have to find another person who would be comfortable, or another kind of people who would be comfortable to have that, to convey the image or the missions, the actions of this company to a large audience. Or they can hire someone to do that as well. But that doesn't become too authentic, too original. So if it comes from inside, they have this they allow the company to have this organic growth, to build this commitment, this relationship with the customer from a very organic way. So, and then maybe for some companies, they use these influencers, right? But then how this interaction happens is entirely different.
Absolutely, because again, it's said like sustainability is not just the responsibility of senior management. It's everyone's baby. Everyone needs to report on it, right? So definitely. Great. I think we can wrap up with that because we've just hit the mark. So thank you so much, Marvin, for that. I think it was a very interesting session. And of course, this webinar has been recorded. The recording will be available on ISS website. So if you've got any questions after you watch the recording for Marvin, you can always get in touch with us and we'll get him to answer them for you. So thank you so much. And if you wish to learn more about sustainability, do visit the ISS website, explore the Diploma in Business Sustainability, which is a course designed to provide everyone with the right tools and templates to get you started on your path to sustainable business practices. And we will, of course, be holding many more such webinars on issues of topical importance in the coming few months. So keep an eye out on the ISS website for those details. And I'll see many of you join us for those sessions. Thank you once again, Marvin.
Thanks, Nadia. Thanks, everyone. Bye now.
Thank you. Bye.